I'm going to be sharing my basket of my September curriculum things that I'm working on. I have had so much fun going on TikTok and reading about people's September curriculums or their fall curriculums or just maybe even a curriculum for the whole semester. This is something that I have been doing in my own life for, oh gosh, maybe 20 years now. I just didn't know that it was called something, and I didn't know that it would be something that anyone else would be interested in. So I am super excited to share, and I'm really excited that this is like a trend on TikTok now, and that people are creating their own curriculums. So um, I shared my notebook stack recently on a Substack Live, and I added a new one. This is my personal curriculum notebook. I tend to write stuff, like just put stuff on my computer, but then I forget that it's there. I forget that it's in my Notion or whatever. And so I decided, you know what? I found this pretty Claude Monet notebook and thought, you know what? I will make myself my own notebook. So put some stickers in there, did some brainstorming, and I made a plan for September. I have nonfiction reading, I have art, I have what I'm calling literature. I'm loosely calling it literature. Creative recovery, exercise, cooking and fall recipes. And then I just have like notes to myself that I wrote, things that I'm going to follow. I'm going to keep everything in this basket so that I can just go to that basket when I have time. I'm going to be kind to myself. There's no deadlines. It's just for me. Um, I'm going to include snacks and a nice drink, like an iced tea or chai latte for when I'm working on my curriculum. So let's dive into it. First, this is my commonplace notebook. I have talked about it before, and I will reference that in the article that I will add to the live. Right now, I am reading Dear Writer by Maggie Smith. This is a library copy. I'm going to have to get my own copy of this because it is so hard for me not to underline in this library book. So I'm commonplacing it right now and really loving it. So that is a book from my writing life. As far as fiction, I have this beautiful Kristen Hanna. It is called The Nightingale. Here's the cover I took off. It's called The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. I have just barely started it, but I haven't gotten super far into it. We were studying World War II, and so I really like learning about kind of side quests that happened during World War II. And I think this one is set in Paris, which is really fun. So there's that one. And then I don't have this book. It's an audiobook that I'm listening to. It's the River Enchanted and the Fire Endless by Rebecca Ross. I got addicted to Rebecca Ross's writing because I read Divine Rivals and Ruthless Vows. It's a duology. Did some annotating with these, and I did these like 2 months ago, last 2 months. So this was part of my personal curriculum for July, August, some of June. So I absolutely love Ross's writing. It's amazing. I really like how she does duologies. So it's a series, but it's not like a huge investment kind of series. And I enjoy fantasy, but I am not typically a fantasy reader. And so this has just enough like magic and exciting things happening that it adds some interest, but I'm not like trying to understand this really weird magical world. So I really like, I highly recommend these. And I also really recommend the ones I'm reading now, which is the Enchanted River, the River Enchanted, and the Fire Endless. I'm also reading Sticky Faith. This is something I'm reading because I'm doing some work at church and they recommended this book. So that is on my list right now. And we're going to meet together and talk about it. I'm also reading Till We Have Faces by C.S. Lewis. This goes with the collective that Leah Bowden hosts. It's a group of homeschool moms and just moms in general that like love reading and learning. And so we are reading this as a group. And we're going to have a book club discussion on it for the next 2 months. So that's in my stack. I have mentioned this earlier that I'm doing Draw Your Day slowly, very slowly. And this is my little sketchbook. And so I bought like a cheapo sketchbook, and this is what I'm working on here. And then I also am enjoying watercolor, and I found these at the library. Easy watercolor flowers and watercolor in the woods. What I liked about this one is just the pictures. I'm probably going to end up using this for my nature study notebook. Because I just really love the simple drawings that are included in here, and then the really fun information about the nature things. So I love drawing birds. So I was excited about this one, about those, and then the Artist Way. So this is something that I did a class on a couple years ago, and went through, did all the exercises, took notes. And so I busted out my old notebook from that class from 2022. And I really had fun just making it very, very detailed, taking lots of notes, and just adding lots of information. And so I'm planning on going back through that again, but it's really been fun looking through my old notes, my old commonplace notes on this. And then I'm going to add to my commonplace notes, because there's like some spots in here where I left blank spaces or I didn't get to finish. And so like this one, I'll get to finish this chapter. And it's fun to kind of see the notes that I took and how I've changed and grown. So I'm really enjoying doing this. I'm going to kind of do this really loosely. I'm not sure how much time I'm going to spend on this, because I have been through the whole thing before, but I wanted to get this back out. The idea for me was I saw this book called The Book of Alchemy, and it's very similar to something like this, but it's a newer book. And so it's on my Amazon wish list. And so I've told myself that a reward that I'm going to give myself if I work on The Artist Way, which I already own, and I work on this for like the rest of September, then as a reward and a celebration, I will buy myself The Book of Alchemy and then work through that. Because I'm trying not to spend money on books when I already have way too many. I have so many books. So, yeah. So that was my thought to myself was, okay, I'm going to start with this, and then I'll buy the next one, buy that other one. They're not written by the same author, but it's kind of a similar kind of book. The next one is Atlas of the Heart. This has been on my shelf since it first came out. I pre-ordered this and I've never gotten around to it. And I have some friends that have read it and said it was really great. I just have never been quite in the mood for it. I've picked it up a couple of times and it's beautiful. When I thumb through it, I'm like, oh, this is really appealing. I just haven't mentally been in the space to read this. So now I am. And I'm thrilled that it's been on my shelf waiting for me. So I'm going to dive into this. She also has a podcast. Brene Brown has a podcast with, I think, her sisters where she talks about this book, and they kind of go through the different parts of it. So I'm going to read, and then I'm also going to listen to the podcast. And this will be something that I write, that I take notes on in my commonplace book. So I'm excited about that. Also, random things in the basket. This is pens and highlighters and sticky notes and just like all the little fun things that I could need, annotating tabs. So, yeah. And then, so I can just grab this and take this. It's got my favorite pens and highlighters in it. I bought this on my trip this summer with my oldest daughter. When we were doing our coffee shop date, we were thrift shopping and I found this really cute little. And then my reading glasses. And so, unfortunately, I just recently got reading glasses and I need them. So having those in the basket with the books ensures that I will use them. And it just makes my life easier. So it's kind of fun. And then the things that are left in the basket are just like my meal planning stuff. So I got a fun cookie cookbook from the library. And this is my meal planning notebook, which I talked about in one of my other posts. This is one of my favorite cookbooks, the weeknight dinner cookbook. I just love how visual it is. It's really fun to look through. And I got this from the library. So I have just started kind of glancing through this one. It's kind of fun. And then I have my printables. So I put that in the basket because that is something that I can thumb through, I can look through, I can think about when I am not necessarily in the mood for deep learning or deep thinking or reading a fiction book. So things not included in my basket are my knitting, which is down there. I should have grabbed it earlier. My color pages. I have fancy markers and color pages with like nature scenes and stuff that I color. And my journal. I've mentioned that before. This is my journal. I write like things that I'm processing, working on. It will also be the place where I keep my morning pages for the Artist Way when I'm doing those exercises for the Artist Way. So that is my September curriculum. I decided to be super relaxed about the planning part of it. I just wrote down the titles and like maybe like a small goal that I had with it, but not even really that much. I mean, I just kept it really simple. And then for exercise, it's finally getting nice enough out that I can go for walks. So I added that in here. And I also put the note to myself that I want to spend less time scrolling and more time using the things from my basket. So the dogs are playing in the living room. I'm sorry if that's loud. So that's my learning basket. That's my September curriculum. And I am really enjoying. I have a bunch of weird gaps in my schedule now that I didn't before, now that my college students are back in school and my younger kids were back into our homeschool routine. And so every now and then I have these weird gaps where I'm like, what do I do with myself? The laundry's folded, the dishes are done. What am I going to do with myself? And so having this basket has been really good for me. It's really helped me feel like myself. And I've forgotten how much writing in my commonplace notebook makes me feel like like me. Like it just brings back that like taking notes in college and writing notes to remember. And it just feels, it's the type of writing that just feels like it's for me. And that's just lovely. I love it. So it's been really fun. I have really enjoyed the Dear Writer. It is great. I am not interested very much in poetry. So she is a poet. And so poetry is, I have a love-hate relationship with poetry, but I've still just been getting so much out of this and it's been a lot of fun. I've started commonplacing that. Next I will commonplace the Atlas of the Heart and of course the Artist Way has its own commonplace notes that I'm working on. So does anybody have any questions? I see we have a couple people in the room with me. If you have any questions, drop them in the chat. But that is my September curriculum. I wrote a really exciting post about curriculum, about your own personal curriculum, about different things that you can do to build a personal curriculum. But I highly recommend just taking what you can out of that post that works for you. If doing all those things feels too intense, then don't do it. Like pick the pieces that make sense for you. Sometimes I write really detailed plans and at other times I just write a list in a notebook and both of those are fine. So I hope that your day is going well and thank you for joining me on the live and I will talk to you guys soon.